Hello and welcome. I'm Lucy Foster-Perkins and I'm here in my beautiful garden in Bali, and I'm going to take you through a Yin Yoga class. So this is where we hold stretches for a number of minutes so that you can really open up your joints after a surf. So we're going to be focusing on the shoulders. You've been paddling a lot, but also on the hips and the lower back from that arch that you've been keeping whenever you're paddling. So the main thing to remember with this class is that we want to encourage the muscles to switch off. We want to target the fascia, which are like web-like sheets, kind of like a messy web that run over every part of the body, every muscle, every organ, every muscle fiber. And it's this fascia that often gets tight and holds a lot of tension, but it doesn't respond to repetitive movement. It responds to long and more gentle holds or stretches. So throughout this practice, just to keep remembering that, to encourage the muscles to switch off. So we don't want to engage the muscles. Okay, let's get going. So I've got a couple of cushions with me to support the body with some of the poses. So if you want to grab a couple of cushions from your sofa, then do that now. Our first pose is going to be melting heart. So come to all fours, keep the hips over the knees, and then gently pad the hands forward and let the head and the elbows come down to the ground. Now, if this is a little too much for your chest, you can take a cushion or two underneath the chest to support it. And if this isn't enough of a pose, then you can take, or a stretch, sorry, then you can take a cushion or two underneath the elbows to lift the arms up a little bit and let the head drop down to the ground. So whatever version you're doing, just keep the hips right on top of the knees. So then we find stillness once we found the pose that works for us. Encourage the muscles to relax. And if you think of the concept of yin and yang, of opposites, the yin practice incorporates more of the stiller, less moving, more mindfulness practices. So let's take a few breaths and encourage the exhale to be a little longer than the inhale, just to encourage the body to relax and become more still. That doesn't mean frozen. It means that we commit to stillness so that we're not fidgeting or changing the pose. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the belly. And after you've done a few longer exhales, let your breath return back to its natural rhythm. And if you find that the mind wanders off, which it will, you can take your attention to your breath, just noticing the inhales and noticing the exhales. And every time the mind wanders off, you bring it back to the breath. So we're calming not only the body but the mind as well. Every time it wanders off, bring it back to focusing on the breath. If you've been moving around a lot today, if you've been surfing, or even if you've been sitting at your desk and working a lot, then really relishing this moment of stillness. This opportunity to check in with the body. We'll take another full breath in, full breath out, and then slowly come back up to all fours. And we'll pat the hands back, this time coming all the way back to sitting on your heels, knees together, head on the earth, and let the arms rest beside you. Back of the hands resting on the ground. And then slowly bring the body back up. And for this next pose, I like to sit on a cushion or two, but you don't have to. So we're going to take the knees wide, and then you might want to do this with one arm or you might do it with two. So be mindful of how this feels. Back of the hand comes to the side of the waist, and the elbow comes on the inside of the knee. Now, if that's not possible to get your elbow on the inside, then just hold the outside of the elbow with your opposite hand. So you might be that one is enough, it's quite a spicy stretch, or it might be that you can get the other arm in as well and do two arms at the same time. So again, this is quite a spicy stretch, so the wider your knees go, the less stress it will be on the shoulders, and the closer the knees are together, the more of a deeper stretch you'll find. So find a spot you can stay for a few minutes, so you're not clenching the jaw to try and stay here. And then close the eyes. Relax the jaw and the fingertips. Maybe take your attention to the part of the body that's most asking for your attention. Maybe there's quite a spicy stretch in the shoulders. Maybe you feel it in the hips a little bit. And you can place your awareness to that part of the body, but without labeling it good or bad, or waiting for it to go, or trying to change it in any way. Simply noticing it exactly as it is. And when we close our eyes, it's easier to turn our attention inside. And we spend so much of our day searching for stimulus outside the body, or distracted by things that are going on outside. Keep the breath nice and soft. And we keep these stretches, all our Yin Yoga stretches, at about 60 or 70% intensity, because we don't want to stress the body. Often when the body perceives that it's under stress, then the muscles will begin to tighten up to protect it. So we want more of a gentle stretch so that the muscles know that we're safe and they'll relax. And then the stress of the pose is taken up by the fascia, those web-like sheets that run over every part of the body. So it's really important to open up the joints in our body so we can find more space. And that way, over time, as we age as well, we don't find that the joints begin to tighten up and become less restricted. Now, if you've got one arm in, or you're holding on to one arm, then swap arms now. So you're going to the second side. Check that the belly is relaxed. The hands aren't clenching. If you've had both arms in and you want to increase the stretch a little bit, you can bring your knees a little closer together. Or just stay exactly as you are. And as we find stillness again, letting the thoughts come and letting them go. If the mind wanders off, you can come back to the breath. Take another full breath in, full breath out. And then slowly begin to release the arms. Just come to a comfortable cross-legged position, and as you inhale, we'll take the hands all the way up to the sky. Exhale down. You might want to do this one more time. You might want to do it with your eyes closed. Inhale up. And exhale down. I want to find a place where the arms can relax and the shoulders can relax, just to let the fascia resettle. So find a place of stillness. Close the eyes. You can notice what feels different, what feels the same. Remember, we're not judging or labeling, we're just noticing whatever comes up exactly as it is. Great. And opening the eyes. So we're going to open up the hips now. So you might want to have your cushions nearby. Let's start with the left leg forward, and we are going to bend the right leg. So you can either come from all fours, or a nice way to get into this is to have your knees up, let them fall to one side, let's say the left side, and then just swivel that back leg, the right leg a little further back. So we're targeting the left hip, and there's two options for this. You can either fold forward here, and you might come onto your elbows. You might come onto a couple of cushions to support the body. You might come all the way down, lying on the belly. So this is an option, and the second option is to extend that right leg out. This is more of a pigeon style for those of you who've done Yang Yoga or more energetic yoga. And Yin, we call it sleeping swan. So take whatever version works for you. And then again, we want to find about 60-70% intensity to open up the hips, and this will really help with the lower back. So find a version that works for you, and just slowly take a few breaths to enter the pose. So you're not falling all the way down into it and then holding it. But come with a sense of curiosity. Where's your body at today? And then find stillness once you've found the place that works for you. Relax the jaw, relax the belly. And again, you can take your mind to your breath. So you can watch the breath come and watch it go. You might find that the body relaxes and you can go a little deeper into the stretch. But again, we're only doing this if the body invites you to go further. We're not forcing the body in any way. I want to encourage those muscles to switch off. And the best way of doing that is to signal to the body that you're safe. So if you do any fast jerking movement or force yourself into the pose, then the muscles begin to tense up to protect the body. So our Yin Yoga practice is a really nourishing practice. We're listening to what the body is asking for today, and then honoring that request. And letting the body melt further and further. Perhaps sending your breath to any part of the body that feels particularly tense. Sending your exhale to that part of the body. Encouraging the body to melt further. Every time the mind wanders off, coming back to the breath. And we'll take another full breath in, full breath out. Slowly, slowly bringing yourself back up out of the pose. Wiggle yourself slowly back into either downward facing dog or child's pose, so whatever feels good for you. Just a way of opening up before we go on to the other side. And then coming all the way down. So explore what might work for the other side. It might be different from the first side. So this time, if you're coming to more of the stag shape, you can let your knees fall to the right and take that left leg back behind you. You might explore this first. Or you might extend that left leg out behind you for more of the sleeping swan version. So again, be curious. One side will be different to the other. Slowly entering into the pose, breath by breath. And then again, committing to stillness and silence. Allowing the pose to do the work, you don't have to do anything, so you're taking the effort out.
encouraging the body to melt, softening the jaw and the breath. If the body's asking you to go a little deeper, you can honor that request or simply stay exactly as you are. By opening up the hips, we're also releasing tension on the lower back. We find that the hips often get quite tight after we surf. And take another full breath in, full breath out. Again, slowly, mindfully. If you can, with the eyes closed, so you can keep your attention inside. Begin to bring the body back up. Work your way all the way back to downward facing dog. Nice. And then bring yourself all the way down. Lengthen the legs out in front of you. We won't stay here for that long. We'll just open up that back again. The back line of the body, so the hamstrings and all the way up the spine, maybe into the neck. So if you feel that you have to hold on to stay upright here, then just sit yourself on top of a cushion so that your hips are lifted a little bit, and sit right at the edge of the cushion so the hips are tilted further forward rather than right on top. We're going to allow the head to drop down and slowly let the body ease its way into a forward fold. But we're not trying to hold on to anything. So in a more of a yang style, we might hold on to the legs or the feet and pull ourselves forward. But this one, we're just letting the legs hang and letting the body hang. Maybe even turn the palms to the sky to signal surrender. And let the body be soft. And let it relax. You'll find that over time it goes a little deeper in its own accord. So we're not trying to force anything here. And then inhale, lift the body back up. And we'll come all the way down to lying on the back. So our final resting pose is Shavasana. Lying all the way down. Letting the arms rest beside you, palms face up. We find stillness here to allow the practice to settle into the body. Letting the body completely and utterly melt away. And you can stay here for as long as you like. And for those of you coming out of Shavasana, and again, you can stay here as long as you like. Slowly roll onto one side to curl up in a little ball and just rest here for a moment. And then press the hands into the ground to come all the way up to sitting. And find a place where you can let the hands touch in front of the heart. Take a deep inhale and exhale, bowing the head to the heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope your body feels a little more free now. I look forward to seeing you next time. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great few surfs.